Hello and welcome again to Three Blind Mice. I'm here with, as always, with my partners in crime, Don Nardo Nardecchia and Jim. Sounds like Georgia Borgia. And we're here for actually a redo of one of our shows because we had a heck of a lot of echo in it. Don, you want to explain that?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for coming back to us after that last show. That was one of the most. That show was the most excited I was about a show because we had a chance to introduce a really good guy who's paid his dues in the football coaching world and is now coaching Ohio Northern, Andy Freeze. We're gonna redo this show for you because Andy was so good in explaining what all he had to do. At our end, we're very sorry that the echo was like that. We had some excellent help as far as what we need to do to keep that from happening. And hopefully, we've got that done properly. We understand what makes the echo and why it probably happened. And so we've taken some measures to return to a good sound for everybody. And I again, just apologize. Thanks for joining us. And we will tell you um, that you're going to hear Andy Freeze probably Friday morning. So please look for that and take time to listen to it, even if you wait till over the weekend. It's really, really insightful to what somebody that's becoming a coach at the Division III level goes through from the time he's named a coach to the time he meets his team for the first time to the time of the first practice and then to the first game. It's really a pretty interesting story.
Yeah. And this is our thank you show. And we want to talk about the book. And we have a little slide presentation. So, again, thank you for all your support and for coming to our book signing, for buying our books online, for everything you do. So, first off, we want to talk about our book and how long it took us to put this thing together. Actually, this is version 9. We had a lot of help from editors. We had a lot of help from my daughter who did our book cover. And boy, people ask you, like, is it hard to write a book? And I'm sure I speak for our guys, all of us, is yeah, it's tough. So, what do you guys think?
Well, first of all, I said let's take a shout out to Nikki because it's her birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday, Nick. All
Happy
right.
birthday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And she just called me a little bit ago and surprised me and Sherry with playoff tickets. She
Hey,
gets playoff.
hey.
Oh, come
How
on.
about Uncle
What happened
Don?
to her brother? What happened to her part brother? Come on.
So
What
she
the
just got to
hell?
choose what games we wanted. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Did you think twice before you said all of them?
Uh, no. So whatever you guys can get, they take turns. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, it's going to be
yeah.
really
So
cool.
happy birthday, Nikki.
Yeah,
Yep.
she yeah, she said, "Well, I'm going to set you guys over in 129. I would put you in 170, whatever, but there's no sound over there now for some crazy reason." So I said, "Well, that's okay. I'm near the bar.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good, perfect. Bathroom, bar, food.
All right.
I'm there." So anyway, back to what we're talking about. Sorry for the distraction.
No
Now, I want
distraction.
to thank the people that put us up for our book signing. We had two really good places. One was called The Common Good, which is uptown, right next to the Barry's restaurant now. Jim and Don were there on Friday night. They can speak more about that. And then Saturday, we were at the Buckeye Pub, where Eric and Margie really took care of us. And boy, what a breakfast they have. And man, was that something else? And again, I want to thank everybody that came out, and I want to thank Eric and Margie really for being great hosts. So you guys, what do you got about the common good?
and Allison, the co-owners up there, they treated us like family, or even better, from the time that the question came up, if they would allow us to use their store as a basis for our downtown book signing. And I mean, they provided us with the table, although I think Jimmy had one in the trunk just in case we needed it. But it was the perfect spot. It was on the shaded side of the street, and weather was nice, but it was also a home football game in Norwalk. So people I talked to said that uh, the amount of people up on Main Street for the event was down from what most of them have had. And so the girl said, "Hey, if you want to leave some books here for us, we'll be happy to sell them for you." And so we signed about everything we had left, and we both took all three of us took a few for ourselves for the next month or so, and left some up there. So if you're looking for a book, you're going to be in Norwalk. Stop up at the Common Ground. It's right downtown Norwalk. It's a block from the courthouse. That's Route 250 and 13 that intersect Route 61 downtown. Great little store, and I bet you'll spend some time looking around there. They have anything, anything you can't think of, they have. I guarantee you. So
Yeah.
thanks to them for putting us up. It was a good time up there, seeing some of our from some of our friends from around town.
Yeah, I was up there for their Eclipse deal when we had the Eclipse here. They kind of went over us, and boy, was that something else. That was actually very cool. And we actually ended up buying a Christmas ornament. So that was very neat. What about you, Jim?
It was a great place to set up. Nice breeze. I felt sorry for the woman to our left because every time the wind blew, it seemed like knocked down all of her things that she wanted to sell. And I don't think she sold that many, but Don and I were perfect spot, and kind of had a few people come up there. Billy Seitz, one of the guys that used to work with us from time to time, and his sister come up, and he's not in real good health right now. So maybe a couple prayers for Billy, and we gave her a book to get over to her brother, and hope that he gets better. And I happened to run into Don Sweet, one of the guys that went to Norwalk High when we were going to St. Paul, and we play fast pitch softball during the summer. And I told Don, I said, next time you see Dave, tell him I said hi. And my niece's stepson plays football down the Whitney Field on Sunday, and they just happened to be playing Oak Harbor. All of a sudden, I saw this big guy, and I'm thinking, is that who I think it is? And I walked over, and sure as shit, pardon my language, Dave Sweet, the head coach of Ottawa Glendorf, back in the very, very glory days when I believe the regional finals, when he met LeBron, and LeBron went on to the championship game. And we talked for quite a bit. And, he had heard about our book, and his son was coaching the junior high team. So that was good to see him. And we talked about, we're going to have Dave on, I think, right after the first of the year to talk about, basketball at Ottawa Glendorf. And his son is head basketball coach at Oak Harbor. So.
And I want to also say thank you to Mark Hazelwood for putting together this awesome article about us. It was incredible. I actually have gotten a tremendous amount of feedback from the local people around here about seeing it, not even knowing we're authors. And sometimes it's kind of hard for me to even, you're an author. I'm like, well, it's like, boy, we had a lot of help, and I think a little divine intervention from time to time, getting this thing.
A lot of encouragement.
I really think, of all the people that he could have picked to write a book, boy, did he pick three guys that didn't know a doggone thing about it. And like I said before, you know, the only class I ever took was freshman grammar at Ohio State, and boy, oh boy, that's you know, that's a guy you want to write a book. I don't know. I had a lot of divine help, so I did want to say that you know, boy, it was great. You know, Mark did a great job for us, knowing he was an author. He wrote a book about the Norwalk Boys Basketball Championship, and boy, he, you know, like I said, I can't say enough good things about him. So, Don, you wanted to talk a little bit about the online paper people. Oh, there's the book. I was just
There's the book
talking about.
Mark wrote. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the
There you
Roche
go.
family that runs the Norwalk, Ohio News, that is an online news service. They also had a very nice article in their online newspaper talking about us. I talked with some family members from the Roche family, and they had a story very well written, and really kind of gave the feel, just like Mark did, of what we're going through, and how it all came together, what it's about, and where we'd be. And they came by while Jim and I were up there and took our picture. And they have a little feature, the top pick they call it. And if you go to their if you subscribe to the service, which is very, and I think it's about $40 a year. It's very inexpensive, but they had the picture of the two of us up signing at the Common Good. It was in the top pick, and that's a feature they have every day that has a picture of something going on in the community. So very happy that they thought high enough of this that they put that in that spot. But I mean, we were just very blessed with the people that helped us with a little bit of publicity, and it was a great time. There's Jim and I out in front of the Common Good. We had a table drape, but it was awful breezy, so we decided it was just as good to put it on top of the paper because, or the table, because it was pretty easy to read from there. And there's one of my son's old friends from high school, and when I first saw her, I went, whoa, it's Asia. So it was fun seeing her. And when I told Corey, I said, "Did she have a boyfriend with her?" I said, "Sure did." And you know, they were. I think she was a senior when Corey was just getting his feet wet in the high school music program. So that was kind of fun too. And like Jim said, seeing Don Sweet was a lot of fun. Jeff Wiedemann, just a lot of people walking
Yeah.
downtown, see what's going on. So thanks to our two local newspaper sources, and you did an awful lot on our behalf to make the book signings very successful for us.
Absolutely. Jim, you got anything more about Uptown?
So he talked about Jeff Wiedemann. Well, Jeff was on a Pony League team that I helped coach with
Oh my
Don
God.
Cullen and Dan Missler
Oh, okay. You're okay. They were okay.
quite a few years ago. Like back in I'd say early 80s. There was quite a group of players on that team from right around the area. You know, just to see these guys as they grew up. One of the other guys, he had went to St. Paul, then they moved, and he ended up going to Edison. That was Todd Brown. And he was running the baseball program over to Bellevue for, I couldn't give the exact number, but I would be willing to bet at least 15 plus years. And in fact, his one boy had coached at God, I'm trying to think what college it was, because God, who the heck was it? Trying to think of Rick Perry. He had a son that played for him, and I can't think of the college. Can you, Don?
That would be, I was going to say Marietta, but I'm not sure if it's Marietta or, no, I don't remember where it was.
I think it was something
That was the
closer.
Roth boy went to Marietta.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just some of these guys. And here you get this picture. It's like we're signing a book, and all of a sudden I look up and I see here. I says I had to take a better look, and I said to Don, I says, "Is that who I think it is?" Here's Jim Van Sickle, who'd been around forever and still is, and
Still.
here he come walking up, and we were kind of surprised. He said, you know what? He said, I heard about this and I didn't know how to get it. So I went to Amazon. He said, I picked it up. He said, I brought it over and hopes that you guys would sign it. And hey, would be more than honored to sign that book. And we decided maybe better get a picture with him.
Yeah.
So,
39 years in the New London schools. Rick experienced him there when he was a student.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was my freshman basketball coach.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's funny because, you know, that's been a really long time ago. And I was talking about that to my wife, Sherry, and she says, well, how the heck does he, out of all the kids that he coached, how would he remember just you? And I said, well, I'll tell you, and this is a short story here, probably because I'm the only guy he ever coached that fouled his own player. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, we had a jump ball, and we played at Wellington on the stage, okay? Oh, yeah, on the stage. And we had a jump ball, and Don Adams, who now has passed away, had grabbed the basketball and was going up for a layup, but at the wrong basket. So I chased him down, fouled him. The ref blew the whistle, and he looked at me kind of confused, and I can't remember if he stayed with the foul or he just gave the ball to the other team. But and I remember going over to Jim, and he goes, well, why did you foul him? I said, he was going to the wrong basket. Oh, that's right. That's right. So, you know, so I was like, well, that's probably why he remembers me. Plus the fact that I reffed 100 times in front of him. But, you know, like I told him, it was such a blessing to be able to go back to my alma mater, New London, and work games. We had some great coaches over there, you know, Marshall, and then, you know, we had T-Bone and a lot of the guys that are still there. And it was just such a blessing to go home and work games and to give back to the school where I started. And I know you guys feel the same at St. Paul. We had opportunities to work there. You know, I actually worked St. Paul a lot, and you know, just to give back. And I think that's what people today, they don't get that concept that, you know, a lot of the reffing we did was, you know, in our hearts was to give back to the community. You know, we interacted with the players, we interacted with the coaches, and our book is full of that, you know, of where we've interacted with players and coaches and kids on the sideline. Jimmy would look for little kids to hand the ball to, or, you know, just people we could chat with. It was like a community gathering, no matter where we were at, whether it was Toledo, Mansfield, you know, it didn't make any Avon, it didn't make any difference, you know, and I'm sure you guys feel exactly the same.
yeah.
Absolutely. You know, you talk about going back to your old school. When the new building at St. Paul was built, I think we probably, Jimmy and I probably reffed a couple of games there. We did referee the last varsity girls game up in the second floor Monroe Street gym, and that's the one that we had phys ed in. That's the one where freshman games were played. When I was a freshman, the varsity even played 4 games up there because of scheduling problems. But the girls teams played there up until the time when the new building was put up in the mid '90s, and so it was. You know, we were set to do the first game in the new place and got delayed a little bit, but we had the last game in the old place, and when it came down to it, I just thought that had really, for me, long range, it had more meaning to it than being in the new one. But one of the varsity games after that first year, I had asked Mark Heyman, who was the assigner for Firelands Conference, if he could assign me to a St. Paul game at the end of the season I think it was 2 years before I actually did retire. I had originally figured to retire. Story about my retirement is how I changed my mind and stuff is all in a book. But he set me up with the New London at St. Paul game, which was very close to the end of the season, maybe second last week. Now, Tommy Howell, who's coaching New London, and Mike Smith, the coach of St. Paul, both worked at Norwalk Furniture as I did. And in fact, Tommy worked very close to me. We interact a lot. And then lunchtime, I can't tell you how many lunchtimes I spent sitting with Mike Smith until he went out on his own with his business. And so he wouldn't have to worry about missing ball practice or anything because of work at Furniture Company. And so, that was a great game for me because I just thought the world of both those guys. They, as young coaches, they were well beyond their years as far as their demeanor and their professionalism on the bench and towards the officials. A lot of young guys just immediately think they know more than any official, and they really expose themselves to the possibility of technical fouls quite easy until they learn. But these guys, not a bit. And it was a great game, and I think New London was mild upset that New London won. But I got a chance real quick before I left the court say a few words to both those guys. And that's the thing about small school, high school sports, that we can do that and get away with it because we did a pretty good job. And it was no more of that. Well, those guys are St. Paul people. It was just that, we've had them a lot of times, and they're all right.
Well, that's good. Jimmy, you got anything?
No, it's just like Don said, talking to them, and whereas you might go into another league and the coaches or the fans hadn't seen you before, and they wonder what kind of game you're going to officiate. Are you going to do like last night's officials? Are you going to let them play? Are you going to not call anything? Or what's going on? But I remember one night we were down in New London, and we had some kind of play that we took care of, but we told Tommy or T-Bone. He said, "Hey, we went back into the locker room. We looked it up in the book, and we happened to get it right for once. One out of two." But we went back out, and I had told him, because I believe I was a referee that night. I walked over and I told him, and I said, I'm not sure, but I said, I've looked over at your bench a couple of times, and I don't know if I'm seeing double or not. And right away he goes, "So I know what you're saying. So I'll take care of it." Having his assistant up when he was up yelling, his assistant's up yelling, and just a quick, with not having to yell about it or make a big deal out of it. He understood what I was saying. And we went out about our business. I said, and it's like that, you in the Firelands conference one night, they got a few people that come there to administer any medical stuff that might be needed. And one night we were out to Western Reserve, and the one guy that we knew was standing there, and the guys just said, these JV officials kept blowing the whistle, and we'll get you out here before 9:00, And then we go out on the court, and we talked to both coaches and told them, I said, tell the kids, and got the captain, said, listen to us underneath, get your hands off, get out of the paint, blah, blah, blah. Well, for some odd reason, they didn't want to take our suggestion. And we had 5 fouls on both teams in the first quarter. People are yelling, let them play. Now, as I'm going to the table to make sure everything's good to start the second quarter, I could hear Chris Sheldon talking to his players. Said, listen to the officials telling you, keep your hands off, get out of the paint, blah, blah. Listen to them. Well, we started that second quarter, and by the end of And by the time we got to halftime, we only called a total of 3 the whole second quarter. Never shot a 1-on-1. Got back out, did the second half, and as we're going by the one of the medical people right there by our door, he looks up at his watch on his wrist, and he's shaking his head, give it a thumbs up, saying 10 minutes to 9, and he was done, and he was ready to leave. So yeah, it's just, people think they know all the rules, but you don't. It's just the fact that take a second, watch a game, and go there as if you were going to referee, because people are up in the stands and they say, "Why the heck didn't you call that?" Well, you're up above all the action, and it just takes a split second for somebody to run from one side to the other, blocks us out. It looks weird, but if we're not 100% sure, we're not going to make that call just because it looked weird or somebody in the front row yelling about it. So all I got to say on that.
Hey, Don, here's another slide. I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, this is a good friend of ours, Susie and mine, Rhonda Dowdy. She and her husband Dave were in school with Susie, and she came and bought 4 books, one for them, one for her friend and our friend from Columbus, Lori Weltland. She also got one for her dad, one for her dad's neighbor. So it was good to have them in with us and good to see them for a while. We usually see them every time we come home, but it was fun, seeing them out of the house or, in a different setting like this to have a little fun early in the morning like that.
Oh yeah,
And
it was great.
good to see her. Always good to see Rhonda and Dave. Really, really good people. And that's what the signing was all about. There were a lot of good people that were there.
Yes, sir. We've had a lot of good feedback from that. Again, if you're looking for a breakfast place on a Saturday, boy, the Buckeye Pub, you might not think of it, but boy, they're good. I mean,
They do their thing, and maybe
yeah.
the service isn't. Let's put it this way: it's not fast food. Okay?
No.
But that cup of coffee, they kept that thing filled until we said thanks, but no more. And so, I mean, don't go there expecting to get in and get out quick and get your Saturday on. Go down there, sit and relax and enjoy. Go with another friend, another couple, whatever. It's a great place. They do a great job with their food.
Absolutely.
Play a little Keno.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
And in closing here, we want to let you know our book is still available online. As Don said, that we have some up at the Common Good as well. You can reach out and talk to us. We could probably get you a book. And a little teaser, we have a whole bunch of good guys coming on as far as special guests. We're also going to put together for the holidays a video audio book that's going to be available for a subscription, like $5 or something. And you'll be able to hear us, see us, and watch as we read these stories to you and fill in the cracks. And then you can decide which one of us is telling the truth.
Right here.
Yeah, okay.
Right here.
And also, before we close, I do want to say a special thank you and a attaboy to Don Nardecchia, because he is the ultimate referee recruit.
Yeah, oh man, yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Talked to him my last visit down to Universal Studios. I saw him walking. I said, "Man, you're just the kind of guy we're looking for." I don't know if we could get a football official's hat around that head or not.
Well, hey, he'd be a great basketball official. Think about that.
Oh boy, wouldn't he though?
Oh yeah, nobody's going to say his name.
Kind of looks like him too. Oh, he's got more hair though.
Oh
yeah. Oh God, yes.
Probably.
Hey, and I'll tell you something else. I don't know if I told you guys this. If you go see the Beetlejuice 2 movie, most of the movie houses in their big buckets of popcorn, there's a Beetlejuice logo on that, kind of a marketing tool for the movie and stuff. And Fanta they have a green apple or something pop that is a Beetlejuice oriented thing. And my granddaughter, who works for a big marketing firm down in Atlanta, was part of the team that put all these connections between Fanta Pop and the Beetlejuice movie together and out in the marketing aspect of it. So, that's I know kind of what she does, but this kind of put it out to something that I understand about doing internal communications for Bank of America and all this other stuff. So this was a neat marketing combination that they came up with, and just another little it's amazing. It's about Beetlejuice when we had the picture here.
Jim, you got anything to say before we close the show?
No, just again, I would like to apologize for my last sitting in the broadcast thing because my landlady had just left and I had to hurry to get set up. And I thought, well, by the time I try to put something together, I thought maybe it'd be better just to hold the phone in my hand, and it just seemed like I was all over. And every time I looked, I thought, well, hell, I got to move it over this way and back and forth. But today I had plenty of time to get things set up, and I think this is probably the best I've had as a setup since we started doing our podcast. So I know what I'm going to be using the next forever. But
go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I just want to apologize for what you had to put up with. And if you'd listened to it, I started to listen to it, and I think I went a minute and a half, and I just closed it down. I just thought we've got to redo this thing. And I said, for number one, it's an embarrassment to us, but even worse, it was an embarrassment to Coach Freeze as in depth as he was willing to go with us to tell you about how he got himself on the field as a head coach. And when I called or when I texted him and apologized and asked him if he would have the time to do this again for us, he said, absolutely, guys, I'd be more than happy to. So we got that set up, and we'll be doing that in the next couple of days, and we'll have it on. I know they play Marietta, and their records are both 3-0. Their stats as far as points scored and points given up are just about identical in 3 games. So it ought to be a game that tells Coach Freeze and tells the OAC a lot about how the Polar Bears are going to be through the rest of the year.
Yeah. I saw their scores from their 3 games, and they're averaging 52 points a game and only giving up a little bit more than 12. So if I was betting on this game, I might have to kind of 45 and over.
Yeah, you sure would. Well, that's Andy's thing. He was an offensive line coach at most every place he was. I think he was offensive line coach, and then the associate head coach was. You see that term used a lot in the college and the pro game. It's like the guy's going to take over if the head guy gets bounced or sick or whatever. So I mean, he was close to it, and so he was ready to take that step, and he'd done well for himself. So.
Yeah.
Again, listen or look for it on probably Friday, and they're all archived. Even our first one was near perfect, which just shocked the heck out of us, and our second one was not good at all. And I said that's what we get for having a good one right out of the chute. But we've been pretty steady up until that one last week. So we just hope to get back on board and look for that one with Andy Freeze. Very intriguing show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks again for watching, and look forward to talking to you again this time with Andy. Take care.
See ya.